Welcome back to The Explainer. Right now, hiding in plain sight in the aisles of your local supermarket, and let's be honest, probably sitting in your pantry at this very moment, are seemingly harmless everyday foods that are quietly shortening your life. It sounds intense, I know, but to help us navigate this, we're bringing in a special guide for today. Let's call him Dr. Stickman. He's going to help us demystify longevity and prove that the secret to a long, incredibly capable life isn't locked away in some rare, expensive clinic somewhere. It's actually right there in your local grocery store. So what really drives human longevity? Well, Dr. Stickman is looking at a pretty grim reality right now. We're talking about emergency rooms constantly filled with patients suffering from heart attacks, strokes, and type 2 diabetes. And the heartbreaking part? These are devastating, yet largely preventable conditions. On the flip side of that, he's looking at this massive, pervasive myth. The idea that avoiding this terrible fate means you need to buy complex, exotic superfoods or drop thousands of dollars on crazy supplement stacks. No way. The truth is actually much simpler and a bit scarier. Many of our most convenient, go-to everyday items are silently eroding our health, while the real, actual lifesavers are just sitting there, totally ignored. And this brings us to a quote that brilliantly captures our whole philosophy for today, from emergency medicine physician Dr. Alex. After spending nearly a decade in the ER, literally watching the end result of poor dietary choices play out in real time, he came to a profound realization. He said, longevity is not about finding the right supplement stack. It comes down to boring, repeatable, single-ingredient foods. Think about that. It's the cumulative, compound effect of simple, everyday choices made over decades that actually builds a resilient body. So here is our blueprint for today's explainer. We're going to bust the myth of superfoods, explore the everyday protectors of your heart and brain, dive into your gut health and microbiome, look at proteins for metabolic stability, expose those silent diet saboteurs we talked about, and finally wrap it up with a dead simple weekly prep strategy. Let's kick things off with this whole myth of superfoods and why getting your absolute baselines right is the only place to start. Look, before we go hunting for magic health hacks, we have to establish a solid foundation. You simply cannot out-supplement a diet that is broken at its core. We have to look at the World Health Organization's foundational guidelines. Right out of the gate, you need at least 400 grams, which is about 5 portions of fruits and vegetables every single day. You've got to balance the energy you take in with what you actually burn. You need to drop your free sugars to under 10% of your total calories, keep your salt under 5 grams a day, and strictly limit saturated fats while keeping industrial trans fats under 1%. If you aren't hitting these basics, no amount of organic goji berries is going to save you. We have to get the baseline right first. Okay, moving on to the protectors of the heart and brain. This is how we actively defend our system. These protectors are phenomenal. They actively defend your vascular system and your cognitive function from the inevitable wear and tear of aging. But what's the secret mechanism here? It's all about plant compounds called polyphenols. When we eat these, our bodies absorb them and they actually trigger the production of something called nitric oxide inside our endothelium. That's the delicate lining of our blood vessels. Nitric oxide is basically a signaling molecule that tells those blood vessels to relax and expand. And here's why that matters. As we age, our arteries naturally want to stiffen up, which is exactly what leads to high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. So keeping those arteries flexible, it is quite literally a matter of life and death. So where do we actually find these protectors? Well, extra virgin olive oil is a massive one. Its polyphenols directly protect that endothelial lining we just talked about. A small square of 70% dark chocolate does the exact same thing by boosting that nitric oxide. Then you have blueberries. They are packed with specific polyphenols called anthocyanins, which actually cross the blood-brain barrier to help slow cognitive decline. Beetroot, it's loaded with dietary nitrates that drastically improve blood flow and how efficiently your cells use energy. And kale, it's not just some passing hipster trend. Its unique combination of vitamin K and nitrates offers serious, science-backed vascular support. These foods are basically your body's daily suit of armor. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about gut health and your microbiome. This is all about finding balance so you can truly thrive. Moving straight from the vascular system down into your gut, we have to look at what is essentially the command center for your immunity and inflammation. Here is the stark reality. As we get older, the sheer diversity of our gut microbiome naturally plummets. And we're not just talking about having a little indigestion here. This loss of bacterial diversity is directly, scientifically linked to increased physical frailty, immune dysfunction, and chronic inflammation all over the body. If you want to age well, you have to actively fight this decline. You have to repopulate and feed your gut bacteria. Enter the gut balances. Kefir is absolutely fantastic for this. Unlike your standard everyday yogurt, kefir's unique fermentation process creates a massive, incredibly diverse range of probiotic strains and bioactive peptides. Sauerkraut is another great one. It's honestly one of the most affordable ways to get live bacteria and a solid hit of vitamin C into your daily diet. But here's the catch. Just introducing good bugs isn't enough. You have to feed them. That's where pumpkin and sunflower seeds come in. They provide the exact type of dietary fiber these bacteria need to survive and produce short-chain fatty acids. And those fatty acids, they actively cool down inflammation across your entire body.
All right, let's talk about proteins for metabolic stability. I like to call these the builders.
Now that we've armored the heart and balanced the gut, we need to build and stabilize. These are the crucial foods that preserve your physical muscle mass and, just as importantly, keep your blood sugar completely flat. Eggs are a phenomenal, highly bioavailable, complete protein, and they bring brain-boosting choline right to the table. Salmon gives you EPA and DHA omega-3s, which actually incorporate themselves into your cell membranes to improve your insulin sensitivity. Extra firm tofu is a powerhouse, giving you about 17 grams of protein per serving, along with over half of your daily calcium needs. And pantry staples like quinoa and red lentils, they offer massive amounts of heart-healthy, high-fiber protein. When you build your meals around these foods, you completely avoid those vicious glucose spikes and crashes that drive insulin resistance.
But now we have to face the dark side. Let's look at these silent diet saboteurs, the hidden health hazards lurking in your kitchen.
Because the truth is, all of your good work can be completely undone if you let these silent saboteurs into your daily routine. This is where Dr. Stickman is waving a massive, urgent red flag. Let's look at one of the absolute worst offenders that feels entirely harmless: soft, sliced white bread. It is ultra-processed, incredibly low in fiber, and carries a massive glycemic load. When you eat it, your blood sugar spikes wildly, your insulin surges to compensate, and 2 hours later, you are starving again. But the real, terrifying danger is that people eat it twice a day, every day. Over decades, this quiet, repetitive habit aggressively drives insulin resistance, stubborn weight gain, and type 2 diabetes. What you need to do instead is swap it out for a seeded sourdough. That gives you the complex fiber and metabolic stability of a real whole food. And white bread isn't acting alone here. We have to ruthlessly cut out processed meats, things like cheap sausages and deli meats. They are heavily linked to severe health issues, so you want to swap those out immediately for whole roasted cuts of real meat. Also, watch out for those pseudo-healthy traps. You know the ones, those heavily marketed sugary muesli bars and snack packs? They are essentially just candy disguised as health food. Reach for raw nuts or whole fruits instead. We also need to completely banish energy drinks, which health experts link heavily to obesity and serious liver problems. And industrial trans fats and margarines? The WHO strictly recommends removing these entirely from your life because they are incredibly toxic to your cardiovascular system. Finally, just be careful with even the healthy foods, like smoked salmon. You really have to monitor your portions to ensure you don't accidentally blow past that 5-gram daily salt limit. So how do we actually pull this off? Let's get into the weekly prep strategy, which is all about removing the friction. How do we make sure we actually eat this way while avoiding all those saboteurs? We rely on a dead simple, foolproof prep strategy. Listen, you do not need to spend your entire Sunday locked in the kitchen cooking. It's just about smart storage. Keep red lentils in the pantry. They pack a whopping 46 grams of protein per cup and cook down into a delicious dal in just 20 minutes. Keep extra firm tofu in the fridge. Just press the liquid out and it pan fries to a perfect, satisfying crisp in minutes. Buy bags of frozen spinach for a cheap, immediate hit of iron and antioxidants that you can literally just toss directly into pasta sauces or smoothies. And a great trick, freeze bone broth in ice cube trays. That way you can instantly drop joint-saving collagen into any soup or sauce you happen to be making. So the big question is, which of these life-saving staples are you going to add to your fridge this week? Will it be kefir for your gut health? Or are you finally going to swap out that toxic white bread for a hearty seeded sourdough? More importantly, are those toxic, fake convenience foods in your pantry really worth trading away years of your life? I don't think so. Make just one change today. If you found this explainer helpful and you want to keep optimizing your health through clear, data-driven insights, hit that subscribe button right now. We've got plenty more actionable, life-saving health explainers coming your way soon. Thanks for learning with us today.